Hello, we're ready and live. And welcome to our extra Protospiel tested live stream for this week, because we're joined with some UK friends who wouldn't normally be able to make it to our Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time. So we're doing an extra Monday stream at a good time for them. And so I'm going to get to learn the game directly from the designers here, and then I'll be teaching it again on Thursday night to some other Protospiel online community members. So let me quickly introduce who we've got with us. We've got Jess Metheringham and Mil Goble. Am I pronouncing that right?
That's right.
And are you the two designers, or are you part of a team that's a little bit bigger than the two of you?
We're the sort of main designers of like the game and the game mechanics, and then we've got Ella and Sam who kind of concentrate more on the art side.
Got it. Awesome.
So yeah, there's four of us, but we've all got different skills, and we're sort of trying to, dovetail in with it. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of the play tests as well.
Awesome. Yes. Well, yeah, I know you're the two that have been with us at Protospiel Online. So I don't really know the names of the other people, but I didn't know why that was. If it was just that they couldn't make it, or that they didn't do that kind of thing. But yeah, it's really awesome to have you with us. I'm excited you could both join us. That's perfect. So
thank you. Yeah. It's really good to be here as well.
And we'll be showing also off Screentop GG, which is a different one than the last one that we used. Last week we used BGA for our very first Protospiel tested, and now we'll get to show you what it's like in Screentop GG, which is one that's much, much, much more possible to prototype in than Board Game Arena. So this will be a great demonstration for that reason too. And I would really love to ask you kind of the origins of the game, and just, quick from both your perspectives, what got you started on it, like a 3-minute story of the journey so far to get it on Kickstarter.
Yeah, should I start off with this one?
Sure.
So the original idea, the original idea was about 2 years ago, and it was an idea which I had because it came from what I was. So basically, 3 years ago, then I did a different board game, and it went well, and I was like, oh, I really want to do more stuff. That was Disarm the Base, and I was thinking, this is great fun. I really need to design more games. Then this idea came along, which was, what if we've got lots of different women, some historic women, some fictional women who are kind of helping each other out. The idea was, what if we've got someone like Lucy from Narnia who's got this puzzle to solve, and she has to, go and wake someone else up from a book. And I was like, oh, what if it's someone like Joan of Arc, and, they have to solve something, like they have to get past a locked gate, a locked portcullis or something. And it's like, okay, right. There's, that's the origin story. Did a few little maps and, trying to work out how this would work. Realized it was clearly far too big an idea for me to do by myself. So basically reached out to Mil, who I've known for many years, and said, oh, there's this thing that I'd like to do. Who's up for helping me do it? And so, yeah, Mil came on board, and we basically ran through several iterations and have really focused in on this, which is the final iteration.
Awesome.
Yeah, Mil, what about you?
You've sort of covered it there, really. So so May 2020, I was furloughed from my job, and Jess posted on Facebook going, I've got this great game idea, who wants to help? And I was working in a board game cafe at the time, and so I just sort of went, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Like, I'd been watching so many people playing games and how people responded to different things, and I thought it felt like the time was right to just kind of dig into that a bit more and kind of find out more about mechanics and how that kind of process worked. And it's been amazing. It's been really like fascinating process. So I'm really excited that we're finally at this point. It's been a long time coming, because we've all been doing it kind of alongside our regular full-time jobs, and I think 3 out of the 4 of us moved house during that time. Everybody changed jobs, so it's been full on. But it's really exciting to finally be here.
Yeah, it's a journey always making a game. And having to do it during this very crazy time in the world is an extra
Absolutely.
For sure. I'm looking away here so I can get your link, since we have big celebration to do that. It is funded on Kickstarter.
It's funded. Yeah, we funded on Friday, which was absolutely brilliant. Because of course we launched the 1st of March, and it's funded, and we've reached two stretch goals so far. So very excited about that. But yeah, this is actually going to be a reality. So we are very happy.
Tell me what those stretch goals are, because I haven't.
So the first
I'm
one...
having trouble with my typing right now, but I'll get it in just a second.
The first one was that at the bottom of the, so there's something called disturbance cards, which are basically the curse does something. And, the first stretch goal was a very small one, basically right after funding. That was that right at the bottom of that deck, there'll be another card that basically says, you've run out of time. Because it's something where people who are very used to board games, can generally get the idea that you get to the end of the deck and then they say, when do you lose? Do you lose when you take the last card? Do you lose, the next time you go to take one and it's not there? So basically we said, let's just have an extra card, that takes away that ambiguity. The second stretch goal, so this game has the ability to pass an action to the next player, which would be really nice to have a little token to say that you've passed an action to the next player. So We're going to have those.
So the next player doesn't forget that they've got 4 actions instead of 3. And also the active player token.
Yes.
I'm one of those people that always forgets whose turn it is. So it's one of those things that's very helpful for people like me to have. I'm always the one going, whose turn is it? Is it me?
So you've hit both of those already. We already have those.
That's
we have those.
The next one that we're working towards at the moment, we're about £1,000 off it at the moment. So
yeah,
a little way, but not too far. Is double curse cards. So I was doing a lot of playtesting with a lot of established gamers, and they said, how can we make this more difficult? This feels quite easy. So we've made it as a sort of gateway game or a family game for kind of adults or like older teenagers. It's very exciting seeing it in dollars.
It is. So the next stretch goal is so that is currently sitting at £16,000 937, I think, and so the next stretch goal is going to be at hang on.
Let me see. I'm seeing if I can get you've got the classic Kickstarter situation with all the information. Yeah. Scroll.
All the stuff.
We were really conscious of doing a lot of it as kind of typed words so that people with screen readers could read it. So I just have to big images. A lot of them are.
Stop and celebrate you and Bez together, because Jess, Bez, and I and another friend, Molly from Flying Leap Games, had kind of a accountability group for a little while as they were working on this
you've just
project.
Gone past the stretch goals.
Oh my
there
gosh,
they
they're
were.
so fast. Oh, they're all in one place. They're like not very long. Okay.
Yeah. Well, that's because and right now we were like, let's just do up to 20,000. This was me going, I don't want to, I don't want to feel like we're being, like we're jinxing it or anything.
Yeah.
Right. Yes.
So the double curse cards, normally when you turn over the disturbance card, it affects one of the 4 tiles around the curse token, and established gamers said, how can we make this game more difficult? And so we added in extra tiles that reveal more monsters. We told them they could reduce the number of cards in the deck so they had less time, and they wanted more. So we introduced the double curse card.
I like losing. I want to lose more often.
Anyway. Challenge, so we gave them.
There's quite a lot of scalability in this. We were really conscious that there are some people who will be, there will be some people who are new to gaming. There'll be some people who are playing with 12-year-olds or 10-year-olds or something, and we were like, okay, right, they'll need something that's that's a bit easier. But then there'll be other people who'll be like, okay, right, I really get the puzzle nature of it. And so, there's extra things in there. Plus, actually, for a solo game, so I've done a fair amount of testing with solo games recently, and I was sort of trying to work out what the perfect balance would be for a solo game, and it's basically putting the tiles much more easy, so putting more of the shelf tiles in, so it's a much simpler grid to work around. But then you spend your time running around it, and it's like, okay, that that gets the balance right, because of course different player counts, it's difficult to get it all right for them.
Did we just get a backer?
Yes, yeah, it was on the screen for a little while. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I'm actually.
Thank you.
You just backed. Who just backed it? Are you talking to yourself, Joachim, or Michael? But, Michael will be one of the people playing this game with us on Thursday nights, so getting a preview, early teach by watching us now. That'll be great.
Aha, excellent.
Oh, just copy pasted the message after, so Joachim just
Wonderful.
backed it. That's awesome.
Thank you. Every little counts, and it is brilliant just to see people going out and being like, oh yes, actually this is quite nice. So it's
Prince Joachim, please. This is an established. I think we're starting to build, our Twitch culture of like, apparently, well, this seems to be Joachim's contribution. He's creating kind of superhero names for all of us, like monikers, right?
Brilliant. I look forward to it by the end of the stream.
I guess Michael kind of Chris Michaud sort of coined the Moisbruck because that's what, with just like that, with that kind of emphasis and excitement, right?
Of course. Yeah, it's all good. Brilliant.
Oh, awesome. So I think this time I've let Mill and Jess kind of collaborate on the way they want to get ready to hop right into the game and start teaching efficiently. On Thursday, I think I'll do more of a demo of how to actually join a table in ScreenTop. Honestly, it's almost a non-thing, but I'll show you on Thursday how to do it, and we're already in the table for today, and I'll let them go right into the teach. Anything else that you two want to talk about or mention before we start teaching?
This is my first time playing this on ScreenTop, so
awesome.
This could all go horribly wrong.
ScreenTop is quite easy to get the components in. You will spend a long time fiddling around with it, by the way. People who are interested in, making their own ScreenTop, it takes a lot of fiddling, but it's actually quite straightforward. It's just lengthy.
Right. And there are some things that you can do if you're not too afraid of touching the code that you can see in the stream that we did with Zoe. You can actually really speed up your process a lot if you're not afraid to learn a couple of, like, I know they're intimidating, but if you do it once, you can do it again. Zoe's there to help you be unintimidated, but yeah.
That is true.
So like, I don't know about that. I know
Mill, why don't you do an example with the cards? How about you do an example, Mill?
Sure. Let me
Mill's the expert at all of these.
I can. Do you want the standard convention pitch here?
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm the one with the controls for the zoom of the table, so if you're feeling good, like, let me know if you need me to zoom it in, but otherwise I'm just listening to you.
Cool.
So, you're in a cursed library, and all of the monsters and terrible things have escaped from their books. And your task is to build a team of famous fictional and historical women from these book cards down here. I don't know if somebody wants to flip a couple of them.
You can flip them, I think, but let's flip them anyway.
And they are going to help you capture the monsters and put them back in their books where they belong. So, in order to do that, you are matching these skill symbols on the character cards. I don't know if you want to zoom in there, Heather.
There we go. I think we can see it now. Yeah.
And you're matching the skill symbols on the character cards to the skill symbols on the monster tiles.
Let me bring a monster right over next to Joe March. I'll bring one there, and I'll flip that over.
Okay, so you can see that the basilisk needs the athlete in the gold star, the hourglass in the blue diamond, and the fist in the purple circle. And Joe here has got the fist in the purple circle. And Nzinga has got the athlete in the gold star and the hourglass in the blue diamond. So together, if you've got both of them on your team, they can capture the basilisk. And then once they've captured the basilisk, let me see if I can do this. Let's say they're in my hand. So I don't know how to group them like that. And then the basilisk will join them in your hand. And then they only take up one of the 6 spaces in your hand there. And then once they've captured it, they need to take it to one of these reshelving points. So you need to capture one monster for each of the 6 different categories, basically.
So I'm a little confused here. There's nothing here. These are empty spaces.
They're just pictures. Yeah, they're pictures for where you would put your thing down. So when you've captured it, then you will put it down there.
The monsters will be on these tiles. They're all dark at the moment, but they'll be on these tiles here.
So hang on. Oh, no, sorry, I've just moved that. Yeah. So that would be there.
Yeah.
And then this, let's put the, so the basilisk would appear on one of these tiles here.
And you'd move on to the basilisk, capture the basilisk, and then once you've got it, you have to take it to this shelving point. So again, it's got to match.
Okay.
Here. So either the athlete in the gold star, the hourglass in the blue diamond, or the fist in the purple circle. So you can take it straight to this one here, and then that is complete. So
and then you would do
hops over here like this, and then these 2 will get discarded. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
They've done their job.
I see. So they only stay in your hand until it's sort of like they have a net or something. They've captured the monster and then they're walking over to like a portal to get it back in the book.
Got to put it back somewhere, exactly.
Okay.
So this grid will all be dark tiles to begin with, and we're going to go around flipping them over and following the maze around the library, basically. So we can flip the tiles, we can rotate them.
And here I'll open up the there's the quick rules player aid, so I can use this to remind myself what my action options are.
Yeah, so you've got 3 actions on your turn. So you can do a basic move, that's the tile. Basic move. You can go as far as you like, as long as the path is lit and clear. You can go around corners.
Which includes around corners,
Okay, around corners.
You can move and capture, so you can move onto say there was a monster tile on here, move there and capture it with the ones in your hand, like we've just done. And then there's move and reshelve, which we just did here, taking it to the shelving point. So those are your basic move actions. You can flip a tile, which has to be adjacent to you. You can rotate a tile, either the one you're on or one that's adjacent to you. You can take a book, so you can take extra books into your hand for an action anytime. What have I missed? Oh, you can swap or donate or receive books with somebody on the same space. So at the moment, you 2 are on the same space, so you could trade books, but because I'm on this one, I trade with you.
Okay. Makes sense.
It will become clearer, I think, as we go along. But yeah, in order to win the game, you need you need to shelve 1 monster for each of the 6 book categories here. And we haven't talked about the curse actually. So at the end of your turn, you've got 3 actions on your turn. You're going to flip one of these disturbance cards. This, and that's going to show you which of the 4 tiles around the curse token is going to be affected on that turn. So on this one, it would be the top right one,
which I've highlighted
at the moment. It's in darkness, so that's going to flip over to its lit side, and that one reveals.
And a monster comes onto it. A monster spawns on there.
Okay. And then the curse token in the curse phase just moves on to the next junction. So that just keeps moving clockwise around the outside. At the end of every turn, basically.
Okay, so is it never going to even come into these?
It's never going to come into these.
Okay, cool.
No. But you'd be surprised how much havoc it can cause just going around the outside.
Oh yeah.
So
I guess just because these are the exact same shape, my mind jumps immediately to wondering if they're part of that whole thing.
Yeah,
but
no,
makes sense.
No, the tile it can't affect would be this middle one. You know, basically the middle one is the only one which the curse can never touch.
Yeah.
Got it.
So this deck basically is your kind of turn counter. So once this deck runs out, we run out of time, and that would mean that we lost the game. And the other way that we could lose is if more than 5 terrors come out on the board. So if they're all active on the grid, like this one is, then we're going to lose.
More than 5 of them. Okay.
Yeah.
So as soon as the 6th one,
Got a comment from the viewers that that I absolutely love that the characters on cards that look like books and that the stats are on the other page. Yeah, I really like the look of the cards. Very nice and thematic.
Yeah. Most of them don't have the character portrait in there yet. Oh,
okay.
What happened there? Oh, hang on. Sorry, my thing went funny.
They all will, but they just don't
yet.
Yeah,
they all will, but they don't have it at the moment.
Yeah.
So if I flip over that one, then you see that it's just a silhouette at the moment, but they will have them.
They all will have lovely art by Sam. And the same with the terrors. I think at the moment, all the ones in here are just the silhouettes, but they will all have beautiful art that fills the whole tile.
Okay, cool. Michael also says, sorry, I'm having trouble with my controls here. Very helpful stream with Zoe and David. Well worth the watch if you want to make a game in Screen Top, or even improve your current setup in Screen Top. We actually opened your game up. You might not know that when we were doing that. I was in the chat and they were on screen. And Zoe has a tip for you to make the setup really magical. So you could even just watch.
I'm sure she does.
You could watch that stream, and you'd get actually just help with your specific game.
That would be super useful. Must admit that basically when I was putting it into Screen Top, Zoe and Laurie, who's a friend from the UK, were basically the 2 people who I was like, how to do this, and they gave me loads of really good advice. So would not have been able to do it without the suggestions.
Yeah, for sure.
Excellent.
So shall we shuffle these up? Oh, we haven't mentioned about the reward cards. So or did you mention a reward card? When you have reshelved something, so when you've done, one of the 6 things you need to win the game, then there's a reward card you can take, which Mill is just, showing you a couple of them down there. And some of them are boosters, some of them are sort of special objects. So, Mill, what are the reward cards that you've picked up there?
So I've got the Shield of Boadicea, or Boudica, if you prefer, which basically counts as 2 purple circles instead of having to use a book character for those skills.
Okay.
We've got here a choice between the library card or the photocopier. So the library card lets you pick up 2 books instead of 1 for your take a book action. The photocopier lets you basically double the skills of one of your books. So if I photocopied Red Riding Hood here, she'd have 2 reds, 4 yellows, and 2 greens, which is quite helpful for some of the heftier monsters that we're going to come across. So that's when she's capturing the terror, she basically counts as double if you use the photocopier. The useful map here lets you flip a floor tile from anywhere. So it doesn't have to be the one that's adjacent to you. The library ladder lets you sneak past one of these terror tiles or shelf tiles, because normally they're in your way and they block your path. But if you've got the library ladder, then you can go straight past them, as long as the rest of the path is lit and clear, and you'd otherwise be able to get there. Okay. So there's a couple of other ones. There's Secret Passage, lets you pass through one of these bookcases, because normally you wouldn't be able to go through these bookcases.
Let's flip this one and see what's on that side. Okay, so if we rotate it, remind me which control. Yeah, it's that control. Yeah, so if it was like that, then there's a bookcase in the way from the green one.
So the colored walls, they're all bookcases, actually. Yeah,
exactly.
That's right. Yeah.
So you can only go along the path that is this sort of parquet flooring. Except for here, these tiles are still in darkness.
Okay.
Sort of making sense?
The other way you get a reward card would be finishing your move action there. So basically going to a reward card, finishing a move action there on that tile means you can pick up an extra reward card.
An unending treasure chest. You can always get a reward if you land on the treasure chest, basically.
Cool.
So we need to put some of these disturbance cards back because we have 24 in this pack, and in fact we only need to have 21 for this number of players because the number of disturbance cards here varies depending on the number of players.
How do I pick up more than one card here?
Oh, that's not what I wanted to do.
Double click is like make a pile of them and double click it is one thing you can do. I should admit too, I have played a little bit so far in tabletop, screen top GG.
How do I shuffle?
When they're all selected, Z.
Yeah.
It does this symbol with the kind of, I guess it's two folders, kind of folios. That's where
a couple of books. So that's the shelf thing here. So I think we're going to change the icon so that it's more obvious. But
okay.
Yeah.
But scrolling out, then you'll see that is on the back. That's on the back of the symbols.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So basically, these six symbols along the side, they're the 6 symbols which are on the 6 shelves. So that folio needs to be on, goes on there. Okay, I'll just put
really
that
neat. You have the way you can set up to help people play your games on Screen Top GG is this sort of rule book that I know you all built. Like not all of them always have this, but you can put this on the question mark. And this is the part that I was
so
able to read myself. Yeah, on like all the details of, okay, the table is mostly ready for you, but here's the few steps that you need to take depending on how many of you are playing, etc.
Yeah, it's so useful being able to do that. And in fact, that actually helped us look at the rules and go, okay, yeah. So supposing that somebody doesn't have any diagrams, because of course you can't put any diagrams in there, but you can point to the pieces on the board. So
you can probably put a hot link in there to a PDF with rules too, right?
Yeah, I think you probably could. Yeah, you could. Right. So we've got 24 tiles in there. That is the normal number of tiles in the normal sort of setup. We're just sort of going to randomly allocate them here. We don't know which they are or anything like that. So we're just sort of going to fling them around and then they'll stick in the right places. Oh.
Yes, we're both trying to do it at once.
It's fine. It's completely working. I'm going to let Mil do it.
I could help you, but I don't know if I would be actually helping.
See, Mil's got to take one a bit further away now. Ah, no! You're too quick again.
Oh, my God.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, what?
I think actually that was it. Coming back on the rebound.
Now.
I am so not.
Well, we know that they're well shuffled at least.
Yeah. Exactly. So you can make the game harder by including some of the ones up here. So there are different tiles up here, and you can make it harder by taking out some of the reward tiles and some of the blank space tiles from here, and by putting in a monster instead, one of the terrors in there, that makes it harder because there's a higher likelihood that you'll get the terrors there. You could make it simpler by taking out some of the terrors to replace them with an extra shelf, for example, and then you've got 7 shelf tiles, for example.
My friend made me play his first game with him the other day with an extra terror. I was like, are you sure you want to do this?
Did you win?
No, we lost. Of course we lost.
Well, yeah.
Do you think that your friend was the type that just does not want to win the first time, or they won't like the game? They'll think it's too easy if they win the first time?
No, I think he was just being a bit cocky. Just a bit overconfident. It's fair enough, He's a big gamer, so I was willing to give it a go, but Not for his first game. I think it took him a couple of turns to sort of get to grips with what he was doing, and then I think he realised that he'd explored too much too soon. So we had too many monsters out.
Yeah, so that's something that I definitely would like to get. I suppose you two would probably rather that I actually make sure to share my ideas about how I think we should play while we're playing, right?
Yeah.
Since you
not
said to me before we got on the stream, you're the best two players at this game there are, because so much you've played it. But something I think that's like great for our audience to hear from you as we're showing off this game is general strategy tips. So maybe give those to me now before we're confronted with actual situations, and then see if I can remember to use them. How about that?
My biggest tip is don't forget your rewards.
Okay.
Because people often forget their rewards, and also teamwork is absolutely key. So make sure we're doing a lot of cooperating. Make sure you're like seeing what other people have in their hand before deciding that you're going to just go charging in. For terror.
Stay close together.
Yeah.
Is that
not necessarily?
Not necessarily, no. People often ask about whether they should follow the curse or not. Whether they should stick far away from it. Again, it doesn't really matter. I think either strategy kind of works in its own way.
Is it usually that, like, when you lose, is it usually that the library is completely, all the tiles are flipped over? Or is it pretty common there's still quite a bit of darkness?
There's usually, I'd say, at least 6 still in darkness.
I think it depends. I think sometimes it's a few fewer than that.
Depends on player.
Yeah. Sometimes you've been spending the time chasing one last shelving tile, for example. But I haven't seen a game which has them all flipped over, and I haven't seen a game which only has one left. You know, so I've seen lots of games where there've been like 4 left, for example. Or 3 left or something. So yeah. The thing I would suggest is there are some things which playing the game you kind of get a feel for, and the first few times you're a bit like, oh, you perhaps don't quite realize these or expect them. The first would be that these book cards, the color on the back of the book corresponds to the first symbol you get in there, but not necessarily to any of the others. So if you pick up the red children's fiction books, you're guaranteed that there's at least 1 heart in there, but you have no idea what the other symbols are. Some of them have got 4, some of them have got 3. You might have 2 of something, for example.
Why are there different numbers of all the cards?
Simply because it adds up to 60, and those were the people we wanted to include.
Got it. And you did it thematically. You were thinking like, this person is this, we're going to actually, you didn't say, okay, we have 6 colors and we're going to do 60, we're going to pick 10 of things. Instead, you focused on the women you wanted to include in the story, and correctly represented them based on their qualities and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's come out a bit funny, and I think we'd like to try to address that a little bit. There might be 70 women in the final game, for example, in order to to push it a little bit. But yeah,
we started with a list, I think, over 200. So we had to whittle it down quite a lot. And there's a lot of people that we wanted to include that we just haven't been able to. And it would be nice to do a bit of rebalancing, put some extra women in.
And
plenty of scope for expansions, guys.
So that's not even a stretch goal. Like, you'll just do that.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing would be the other hint would just be to remember what that the curse can do different things depending on what happens. Let me flip over this curse tile up here.
Same thing, regardless of so it will always flip a dark tile. It will always rotate an occupied tile. So those 4 things will you sort of just go down the list, basically. If it's dark, this happens. If it's occupied, this happens. But it will always do. It never does anything other than those 4 things.
So it's just worth remembering that, because you might be like, oh, well, I could stay around here, or I could move from here. If I stay here, then the curse is going to rotate me rather than put on an extra monster, possibly. Who knows? Because it might not be that one that gets flipped. So, there's definitely, some strategy to think about there.
Where you end your turn.
When you're saying there are different things, you mean there are 4 possible things, or there might be more repercussions. Just remember all the repercussions that might happen. There are 4, the same 4 flavors, but the only difference is the juxtaposition or whatever compared to the curse.
Yeah, there are 4 flavors, and there are 4 different flavors. There are 4 different cones to put the ice cream in, basically. so that's a whole load of possibilities.
Yes. Okay. Makes it, there are lots of unexpected things can happen that way. And then I actually just realized, so there's I suppose in I keep saying the wrong word, Screen Top GG, we all have the same true north, right? We're not actually like, we're looking at a flat version of this. And,
absolutely.
We're not sitting on the actual sides of the table, but in person, there needs to be a north. That's why you have this compass rose on the card.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Where's the compass rose out on the board to
center tile?
Say that again?
It's on the disturbance card, so so that you know which way you're flipping.
But the board, you meant the board. It's on the center tile. Yeah.
It's on the center tile. Okay. Gotcha.
So that's also a reason why the center tile won't get moved or flipped or anything. The curse will never affect the center tile, so it's always going to stay the same.
Got it.
But that was something where it is such a simple answer, but it did take a fair amount of figuring out. There was a bit where we were like, okay, the curse needs to, have a pointer on it, and we'll just have to be careful when we put it down that the pointer doesn't rotate or anything. And then we were like, let's just put a compass in the middle, and it just solved all the problems.
Yeah. Awesome.
For ages, we had a token with an arrow on, and people were like, "Oh, does this point the way it's going?" No, it doesn't always point the same. Like, of course. Let's just put a compass on it.
Oh my goodness, such a perfect example of why you need playtesting, because your brain, you're like, I know what I'm trying to communicate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't really know if you're doing it until someone else can tell you whether or not that's what it communicated to them. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. Do we know who's... I know who goes first is the last person to have read or listened to a book. I saw that in the setup, right?
That's right. It's definitely not me, I'm afraid.
My husband and I have a ritual of reading. It's like, I know it's so saccharinely sweet, but this is what we do. He reads me a chapter of a book before we go to bed. We're reading Agatha Christie right now.
Ooh, which one?
The Caribbean Mystery. With,
okay. I quite like that one.
Markle.
Yeah. So. I have read them all. I have read all 60-something of them. My sister a few years ago bought me a huge box from a second-hand shop, and she'd gone in and they'd got, this set of them. And in fact, 3 of the volumes were missing from the set, but it was all the rest of them, So clearly I went and found those ones later. But it was like all of the Agatha Christie's, and there are 60-something novels.
Read them all, but we have purchased most of them. Some of them are kind of hard to track down, so I think I may be missing 10 or below, something like that. But we're slowly working through them this way, where we read them together. So we've been doing this for once in a while. We'll take a break and read another kind of book, but we've been doing it for probably 6 or 8 years. We're not even close to the end. Is she in here? I guess I don't know if Agatha Christie would count as
not out
author.
Of copyright, alas.
What about Agatha Christie herself? She's a human being.
That's actually a good point. She, so she isn't in here, but that is a contribution. That who knows? We could have expansions. Here's your Yeah, you can have all sorts of expansions.
Yeah, we did briefly have another
Famous
book category that
authors.
was poetry and drama, but then we realised that 6 was the key point. So poetry and drama
6
got
was the
scrapped,
magic
and
number.
they got redispersed into different.
Yeah.
If you like kept it to women who were in books, like they had a biography about them, she wrote an autobiography, so you'd have that.
Yeah. Well, we've got lots of historical women who, you know, may not have their own book, but should.
Right.
They all should.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
It's certainly been talked about in a history book at some point, probably.
Joachim says, I want to see Luna Lovegood, but it's probably not allowed.
Not allowed.
Alas, the copyright is still very active on that one.
Yeah. And that's actually like a real problem that we've had with trying to like increase the diversity as well, because there's so many cultures where so much stuff has been erased, and so it's been really difficult to kind of find some of those kind of histories, like books that include characters of certain cultures but are also out of copyright.
Right.
Been really hard.
Right, because it's more in the new times that the diversity is coming in, but it's too new unless you could get the IP, basically. You're not gonna be able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, basically looking at books which are out of copyright, but but have those long histories. You're looking at mainly European, some North American, a lot of lots of Japanese literature, lots of Chinese literature, but there are large parts of the world where there's not that written library, which is
all storytelling traditions and things like that. So
I think The Man in the Brown Suit has a lead female character, Agatha Christie, and I think it went out of copyright.
In the UK, it's about the death of the author. Alas.
Oh, it might be
Although
different
she could have
for us
sold
than you.
it. Yeah, it might be different because it's 70 years after the death of the author. Oh, some of her later books are just hilarious. You get her opinions on the 70s, and it's like Agatha Christie does not like the 70s. Really does not like the 70s.
That's awesome. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm sorry. I feel like I'm taking us very away from playing
tangent. Anyway, I think you should start. You should start.
Yes. Yeah. That whole stinking conversation was because we're trying to decide first player. So just saying.
So we said this was a 30-minute game. In fact, it's going to take hours because people are going to, stop and say, you know what? I read this book, and it's like, yeah, there you go. 3 hours later.
The gaming the system stream, they spent so long talking about the characters and things, and then we've got a quote on our Kickstarter page from them being like, it's so great that there are actually like things to chat about around the table.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and I mean, this is the hazard of having a who goes first rule that's like your real life, because you'll just sit there and talk about your real life if it's too interesting. Okay, so okay. Let me see if I can
go first.
A starting hand.
I mean, I remember reading
starting
in
hands.
Here that we need to get our starting hands, right? So
yeah. So
should I just
take 3 books first? 3 books and 1 reward. So it doesn't really matter which ones, but it's just good for us to get like a nice mix between us.
Right. Pick your favorite color or whatever.
Yeah.
I'll start with blue. And I take it and I don't show you yet, and we'll all flip simultaneously.
That's right. Yeah, because let's for us to see like who's got which colors basically.
Okay, I'll take something rare. That's kind of what I'm also looking at is, why don't I do red, green, and blue and a reward. Okay.
So I'll take, I was going to say, what should I take? I'll take a pink. You take a purple. Do we have everything out now?
Yeah, I'm going to take a green.
Right, I'll make sure that I don't take anything that we've got 2 of then. So I will take another blue then. So so we've only got 1 pink and we've only got one of the legends. Oh yeah, and I need a reward card.
Only 1 purple too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let me see.
Okay.
Amazing lives, historical leaders, science. Science green, this is the correct choice because it reminds me of Seven Wonders. Legend
up the
orange, classic fiction, and children's.
Excellent.
I picked up
So, okay. Oh, yes, you've picked up Camilla. Well done,
Yeah.
Mill.
I thought to have Camilla included. So.
Oh, wow. The place is all about the science.
Yeah.
Could someone remind me how you zoom in again? Is it space in here?
The buttons on the right-hand side.
Okay. Yeah, because it's not Alt.
It depends on what you mean. If you want to see the card large, it's the space bar. If you want to...
That's what I meant. Yeah, that was exactly what I meant. Because it... yeah, because I'm there, pressing the Alt key, going, no, wrong program.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So I'm quite good for purple. In fact, I'm good for purple and... Oh, I know. I'm quite balanced, actually. I got loads of blue.
I've got a really nice mix.
Okay. So I've got loads of blue and quite a bit of purple, whereas Heather is all about the green.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of yellow. Okay. Well, yeah, and there's a lot to... So the rewards are sometimes the rewards are a ton of symbols, and sometimes they're powers. And in this case, we got a bunch of powers. And so it's one or the other. We've got these two sides of the card.
That's right.
So let me think about, or let me try to commit to my mind what are all of our special powers are right now. And like you said, don't forget about them.
Yeah. So the time machine lets you take an extra action. The trolley service lets you trade books with somebody on another space.
You don't have to be on the same space as each other. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. The library card lets Jess pick up 2 books instead of 1 for her one action.
Hi, Joachim. Thank you for coming. Sorry to interrupt you. Library card, okay.
Yeah, so the library card lets you pick up 2 books instead of 1. Photocopier lets you double one of your books so that you've got double skills.
Oh, okay.
What have I got? I've got the library ladder that lets me sneak past a tile as long as the rest of the path is clear. And the passage that lets me pass through a bookcase without needing to rotate the tile.
Oh, fun. Those are very thematic kind of powers.
Yeah, we tried to kind of keep theme high on the agenda here.
This is very much a kind of theme up game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Every time we came up with a new mechanic, I was like, but why though?
Does it fit the theme?
Okay. So you want me to choose first, I get 3 actions.
Yeah.
There's 4 different things I can do. I can do 3 of them in any combination. I can do the same thing twice and stuff. But move is very move as far as you can move. So you're probably not going to do that.
Yeah.
Well, you might do it more than once because you get to a place and then you go to another place, I suppose. Yeah.
At the moment,
realistically, you can only flip.
You can flip.
Right.
Or you could take a book. But it's probably worth seeing what we're up against first.
Right. So, thing 1, flip.
Oh, nice. That's a nice safe one. Excellent.
Probably want to move to it so I can have it, right?
You could do.
Well, you could do, or you could flip one of the others.
Do you feel like it's
Follow your
good
gut,
to...
Heather. Follow your gut.
Do you feel like it's good to have... I mean, it seems like rewards are very good because they're powers, but of course, you don't... If you had a hand only full of rewards, that would be terrible, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you only have a hand limit of 6.
You need to balance what you've got, basically.
Would 2 rewards at the beginning be dumb in your opinion, or fine? But when you get to 3, that's overdoing it. But maybe 2 is okay.
2 is okay, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll let's see what another one is.
So that's your second action. You got a mirror.
Okay, so I ended up getting a lot of symbols, and you said when you can use this in place of a book.
Exactly. Yeah.
To give
when you're up against a monster that needs 2 red, you can use the mirror instead of using a character.
Okay, and then again, the only thing I can realistically do, I could pass something. Well, I'd need to be on the same square as you, but I could have passed something to you on the first turn while I was still with you, right?
But to be honest, we didn't know what anything was, so...
Right, so that doesn't really help us. Okay, cool. Okay, and we got it there. So I take from the top?
Yep.
Place?
and then
just flip that one there.
Flip it over.
Oh, it a big one.
The king in yellow. Oh no. I think I need to not ask questions because we'll never finish this game. I don't know what the king in yellow is. But okay, now I've done my 3 things, so I'll take one of these and flip it over. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So if the tile is dark, this one.
Yep.
Flip and activate it.
That's right.
Ooh, yay! It's a nice one again. Excellent.
And activate would mean put a thing on
Yeah.
it if you need to put a thing on it, right? Okay.
Yeah. But there's no thing that goes on that, so it just does that.
Okay. And all the questions are just about this tile, and what it was dark, so we do the first thing, and we don't need to think about it anymore. And we just leave this here in the discard, right?
Yes.
Yep. Absolutely.
The curse phase is just moving this token onto the next space.
Oops. Come on.
So it's just moving itself happily around the library, being, all cursy.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that my go?
Hang on. Who's
guess we
next? Are we
decide.
going clockwise or are we going down? Yeah. We're going clockwise.
So it would be like green next. Yeah, you next.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to flip this one. Does that make sense, or should I? Yeah, because the curse is that one.
Yeah. Fair enough. It a monster. It a terrible thing. Oh, it Triffids.
Triffids. So a yellow, a pink, and a green.
So that one doesn't.
I mean, I could do it, but it would take all 3 of my cards. So I don't think I'm the right person to do that.
I don't have any yellows, but I do have pinks and greens. But again, it's.
I could do it with 2 cards. I have a card that has a pink and a green, and then one other that has a yellow.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a pretty good set, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be a while before it's my turn. A little bit of time, but yeah.
Yeah, but we've only got 2 things out there, so that's not too bad.
Okay.
So hang on, Mill, is that your first go?
I'm just looking at the fact that you've got 2 reds and 2 purples. So if I give you Camilla, then you could go after the king in yellow on your turn.
Might be a bit difficult to get there. There's 2 bookcases in the way. So I'd go rotate. I can't. Yeah, because I'd have to rotate that one as well. That would be that would be a real faff because I'd have to move onto it and then rotate both of them.
Yeah.
Could you give and then make it so and flip this tile? Oh well, yeah, because it would be.
But there's a bookcase here as well. This tile is the wrong way round for our plans, basically.
But then we could work you up to it gradually. It might take a couple of turns to get.
Yeah.
But I just feel like you're sort of well placed for it.
Yeah, considering that I've got 2 cards that both have a red and a purple.
I think I'm going to give you Camilla.
Okay. Thank you.
There you go.
That's action number 2, is that?
Yeah. So I could flip this for number 3 and see if that is more helpful.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's another one.
Less helpful.
I mean, it's helpful to have monsters to slay, right? Because that's something we got to do. We got to find them.
Okay, I might be able to get rid of 2 of them on the next turn, though.
Okay, so I've just flipped my disturbance card, and
is
it's
it?
this one again, which is an empty other tile, so it's just going to flip back to dark again. But at least we know what it is. So
that curse.
we know that
Sneaky. Sneaky McSneak curse. Okay, so I think that I can get rid of 2 at the same time using all of my cards, okay?
Okay.
Because I've got a photocopier.
Oh,
So
got it.
if I used these 2 here, so if I used Lorna Doone plus now how would I pronounce this? Granine?
Gronya.
Gronya. Plus Gronya. Right. So if I used both of those, then I can get the pit and the pendulum.
Yeah.
In fact, no, I need to use Joe March instead of that because that's
Could
the
you- Yeah.
the pink. So pink, red, and blue.
Yeah.
Then for the second action, then I can rotate this card, and you can this tile, and you can rotate them. So you can rotate them 90 degrees, but it doesn't matter which direction. So it could be clockwise, it could be counterclockwise. So if I did it that way,
Yeah.
then I could use Camilla for the 2 yellows. Then I can use my photocopier to photocopy Lorna Doone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So I'm yellow, aren't I?
Yeah.
So 1 hitting the pendulum is going into here.
Okay.
That was 1 action. 2 actions. Now I'm only rotating this 90 degrees, but that I am rotating my own table, which was not what I meant to do. It's R, isn't it? So that's 90 degrees because I've actually done it the other way, but I've done it 3 times.
Right.
So that was the second action.
Okay.
And now it's got a nice clear path. And then third action, king in yellow.
Move and capture. Okay, right.
And capture.
Yeah. Moving
Yeah.
1 action.
Man.
Yeah.
You're not kidding when you say y'all are the best at this game.
That is a pretty fancy move for this early in the game. But that's the thing, that sometimes you get those, and other times you're like, no, I can't do anything. And it's a real mix of that. So, yay! Okay, and let's see what this curse is. So, it's this one up here. Flippity flip flip. Oh, look, it's another... It's another nasty thing. It's a kraken. Here you
Okay.
come with the kraken.
Oh, but Heather
And
is
then-
a real place for the kraken.
Curse goes on. Okay. Yeah, Heather is perfect for that kraken
Oh, really?
because you've got. Oh no, hang on. Yeah, you could use the 3 of you.
3 of your characters, but yeah. I don't want to tell you what to do there.
Well, I do remember.
Anyway, that was my
Triffids
go. It's now
kind of
Heather's
good.
go.
Without using my really high-powered scientist person, I could do Triffid with 2
Mhm.
kind of just very mixed. They're not strong in anything kind of cards. But I have to get get over there and let me think about what my actions are. Take an additional action is something I could do if that was in my way.
Yeah, that is a really useful thing to do.
Okay, and I can get
taking
things,
additional actions are always fun.
or if I didn't need an additional action, I could take anything from either of you because you're both. Well, there has to be a path probably, right? So I could take something from Mill only. Is that right? For this?
No, trolley service lets you take it from anyone anywhere. But also, you can get to both of us right now. You just have to go the long way around.
Oh, okay. It's not about adjacency.
No,
But this is not about anything. It's just you can take it from any player.
Yeah.
Okay,
You can-
got it.
You just sort of like throw it or something. Oh no, you put it on a little trolley and then scoot the trolley off, and it's like.
Right. That's why it's a trolley service.
Yeah.
Okay.
It finds us.
Yeah, and we're having trouble finding a shelf to put these on too. That's part of our. That's maybe one of our biggest problems right now.
There's only 6 of them out of the 25, so
Okay.
they'll come. But yeah, you can.
So you see a move for me, basically, is what you're saying.
Get straight to Triffids in and capture it in 1 action.
Right, and then I would have the 2 greens, and if either of you had 2 pinks, you don't have anything I can take at all. You just have 1 pink.
I only have 1 pink.
So I also could take a card, and I could use an extra action. I guess. Oh yeah, and I could take pink, knowing pink.
Yeah.
It just might not be 2 pink.
Yeah, but it might be.
Okay. Well, it seems like you want to get rid of the terrors because if you have 5, you lose out on the board at the same time. You lose, right? Is what you said.
6. Yeah.
Okay.
6.
So I'll capture this one, and then I guess I'll draw this one. That's 2. Just 1 pink. Oh, but I can take. I don't even have to use my super high-powered science. Oh no, you don't have. Oh, I was thinking you had a pink green, but you don't.
Mm.
Oh, or do I? No, okay. This is the thing, they stay in your hand. You got to kind of like hide it so you don't think you
Yeah.
still have those
Actually,
cards.
that's a really good point. If you hide it there, then it's sort of like, yep, it's definitely out there. Can't do it.
Right. I can't confuse myself then. Yeah, it would be a use of a lot of cards, but I could use my special ability if we wanted me to get this right now to take your 1 pink unless you need it for something. And
Well, that would be
spend
your
this
third
card.
action, would be to take my card. So
Oh,
it's
that
not-
would be the other action. Then I wouldn't be able to do the
Yeah.
extra action. You're right. I could draw another pink as my extra action, and I know I'll get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's got another green. And this has got a green, so I don't have to use my superpower green. Yay. So
Now
I'll
that your
play-
hand is full, I'm just going to tell you that you can discard cards from your hand at any time for free.
Okay.
So,
What do I do with this? Do I play it just into what I'm doing? Kind of into the stack that I'm making?
are you using it now to go after the Kraken?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. There's a discard pile down here they can go in.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I think mine's hidden underneath my other cards.
okay.
But
okay.
I mean, but it doesn't really matter because the effect is exactly the same. You know, this is one of those things where it's a bit like, where do you actually put it? And in real life, it's much easier.
Yeah.
Mhm. Right. Awesome. That felt like a pretty efficient turn as well.
Yeah.
Efficient use of what I had. Cool. Oh,
So-
and sorry, I need to do this.
Just
Whoa,
that.
no, not that. I need to do that. And it moves. It moves after you do this.
Yeah.
Okay. It is this tile. It's dark, so I flip it over, and we get another monster or another terror. That's what you call them, right?
Yeah.
That
It's
is true because
Dracula.
they're not all monsters. But we slip up sometimes.
And then we move it. There we go. And so there's no like I guess the only effect of a curse being close to you. I mean, I'm not keeping it track in my mind of, oh gosh, the curse is coming my way. Oh no, I don't have like a fear of that. Am I missing something that I should be afraid of? For what?
It starts off fairly gently usually, but wait till it's been around once.
Yeah, and then it'll start, it'll start spawning more monsters where there used to be them, and you'll be like, "What? What's going on? I got rid of that one."
Right.
I'm going to. I don't know. I'm going to.
We don't have any shelves out.
Yeah,
How?
I'm exploring because we've only got one monster at the moment. I'm going to come here. I'm going to get a reward for funsies.
Okay.
I'm gonna
So you can use that same tile to get multiple rewards as long as you stop.
Yeah.
on it.
And it's another one.
Yeah.
So there are 3 reward cards in here, and we know where all of them are.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to flip this one as well, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, go
I
on.
think we need to be flipping. Okay.
Ah, it's
More
another
monsters.
one.
Where are all these
There's
shelves?
more
Yes,
shelves.
we've
Where
got the
are these shelves? I mean, yeah, there are definitely shelves in there.
They're all
But this is
like
the
right
thing.
here.
Sometimes they all just like gather in one, in one group, and you're like, ah,
Boy, I gotta say,
Wow.
yay!
the words in this game
Hang on.
are heady.
Lil,
I
can you
need
do that?
some
It was the
pronunciation
person
guide.
that did that.
Oh, it's the curse that did that, of course.
Yeah.
Excellent. We like the shelves.
There we go.
Oh, got
It's
it,
not
got
one
it.
of the ones I can use, but Heather, you can use it.
Okay, yeah, it just has
You
to have
You can't get
it
to it
has
at the
to-
moment.
Yeah.
represented by one of the symbols, but yeah.
Yeah. So,
So-
yeah, no one can get to it unless I do some turning
But
of
if-
things.
we could rotate it once. Can we rotate this tile once this
Yeah,
direction?
But you can't get through
Until
the
you
thing
fight
there. Yeah.
it. Unless you have the ladder, you can
I've
do it with
got
the
the
ladder.
Unless you had the ladder. Oh,
But-
true. Okay, so it's
Not
my
like this.
turn. I'm trying to think. So we want Heather to be able to get here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. I'm just trying to think what. If we've only got. So I don't have any book cards at all. I'm thinking that there's that one there. So I'm thinking that there are two things I could do. Firstly, I could rotate one or both of these
Well,
these
if you
floor
rotate one
tiles.
that you're on, then Heather can't get onto it. But if you rotate
Yes.
one next to you,
then it's just useful because it basically means that it's
Heather can get there and then rotate it and then get onto it.
Plus, we don't know what that one is.
But Dracula's still going to be in the way regardless.
Yeah, exactly. But it might be that is a that is an empty one, for example. Or indeed it might be that that's a shelf. Okay, so I'm going to flip this one here that I'm highlighting, I think. I'm going to flip that.
Yeah.
But then I'm meaning to use one of my turns to rotate that.
Yeah.
So if I flip that, it's another shelf.
That was like perfect.
Brilliant.
It even connects us, yeah.
Okay, I can use that. I can use that for the pit and the pendulum. But before I do that, I'm going to rotate this one there. So then you can actually get there. So that was my second action, to rotate that. And then my third action, I'm going to go on here. That goes on there. Pit and the pendulum goes on there. These two get discarded. Ta-da! Jess gets a reward.
Oh, for beating a bad guy.
So basically we are 1/6 of the way to actually having completed our task, because we've got one of these symbols here now.
Awesome.
Okay, so that was my 3 actions. Curse card. And it's this one, which Mill is on. And because she's occupying it, then it means it rotates like that.
Okay, clockwise specifically. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So basically you can, so... and then the curse moves on. Moves on. Okay, your turn.
So if I'm following this, I need to move here first, then rotate the tile I'm on to make it so I can get...
Yeah.
Okay. All right. One. Oops. Oh, got it. What is the button for this? You did it. It's R?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, while I'm not holding it though. Okay, cool.
Oh, yeah. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Highlight it and then
I need to be just hovering over it, not holding it. And then you put this away. And I actually could do, it doesn't really matter. I could do either of these.
You want
this one has more options.
So this one, yeah. Because the Triffids can go in either yellow or pink.
Right, after that. Okay, cool. And then I'll take a reward.
Oh. Put Penelope in the discard as well. I think you only put one of them in.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah. Oh, you've got another time machine.
I need to double click it.
Yeah, I think so.
And then move it. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Cool. Oh, is it the same thing I had before? Wow, okay.
There are
don't have to learn
3 of those in, I think. Yeah.
That was 3 things. Oops. Okay, and then gosh, that's weird. I don't know why it keeps happening, but my screen keeps jumping around. I think you two probably are not noticing it, but anybody watching the stream is going to see like a jumpiness, and I don't know why it's happening. I'm just kind of having to deal with it. Okay.
The stream is looking pretty good on, so what I can see in the other, the other window in my screen looks pretty normal, but
it looks normal at the moment.
Well, what I mean is like sometimes I'm trying to move around.
Shelf. Right, so I'm going to just grab a shelf token to put in there, and we know that is now the pink one. Hey!
I can use
actually, that's really good because that means that you can.
The Triffids there.
Yeah, the Triffids can go in there.
Well, and I don't mean it's like staticky or anything. I just mean when I'm moving around, sometimes it pops much further away than I thought I was about to move. As I'm I'm scrolling around the screen by pushing my middle mouse wheel, and just sometimes the end destination is not what I was expecting based on the buttons I'm pushing. I'm not sure why that's happening, but sorry about that for anybody watching me move it around.
I'm going to go and do some flipping.
Yeah, you're going to flip some cards because we've only got two terrible things out there.
2. Nice.
Hey! Okay, that's good for me. Thank you.
Shall I flip the other one next to me? Because then I can stay on this terror and stop it.
Yeah, good idea.
There we go.
Oh, I see. So it'll rotate instead of spawn a terror. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So a yellow, pink, and a purple for the tornado.
That's funny. I was going to say from The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. If I take a yellow on my next turn, I can actually capture that. So that is good.
Okay. That is good then. Yeah.
Curse. It's me.
Oh, excellent. So you did stop. So basically you stopped a monster spawning there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And you made a...
That was good.
Oh, this connection was already
Yeah.
there. Yeah. But we didn't lose the connection or anything. It was pretty just lucky.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, that was not too bad. Okay, so could I get Dracula doesn't need any of those. Just trying to think. We've got 3 out at the moment. I can shelve in the red. Yes. Actually, that might be what I do. Yeah. I could go 1. So it's 1 whole move to get there. So even though it feels like it's a really long way, it just goes do like down there. Because you can go past another player, just not past anyone else. So there we go. And that gets me a reward. Ta-da! Flippity flip. Which is a whole load of greenness. I'm going to shove that there, and that is the library card I used to get as well. There we go.
Very scientific.
Absolutely. So that was just 1 move. Okay, so we've got 4 out. I think I might flip that one. Oh, excellent.
All the shelves at once now.
All the shelves at once.
Oh, and Heather can take Triffids there.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and I have the path open to me. Even
in one go. Yeah. I mean, this is a fabulous path there, isn't it? Okay, and I'm going to take a book because I have no books at the moment.
Yeah.
So let's see. These are not particularly useful for what's actually on the board. We've got lots of pink and blue on the board. I'm going to take a blue. Okay, so that's good for blue.
It's my favorite.
Lovely. Excellent. Yeah. It's a brilliant character. Okay, hang on. And then curse. I need to do the curse. Don't I?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
You have art for this card. It's just not on the card. Like this person is on the cover, I think, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We've seen, yeah. So that.
Have we shown the box? Let's show the box.
Yeah.
The shelf means occupied. Got it.
So the shelf is occupied, and then the curse moves on. Brilliant. There we go. Okay, so that's my go. Heather, over to you.
So I want to fill the Triffids. You're going to get the tornado. Did you say you can do the tornado? And then that would go really well with pink.
Yeah.
Over here. So I can, okay. That seems like the clear first thing. I'll move it. Okay, just like that. And
you went running along here.
That's interesting. All right, and so that's the yellow. Double click this pile. And I'm using WASD to span around the table while I'm holding something to make it happen.
Okay.
Oops. Okay. Yeah, my glitching out keeps happening, but we'll survive. Okay. I need like something to use this fancy green on. What's the problem? I can. Well, I
you've
can
had
help,
that green since the very beginning.
right. I can help a lot with Dracula because I have the mirror. Oh, and that works out
yeah.
perfectly. Also, it's kind of almost like a weapon to.
But then we've
heal
already
Dracula.
got things for red and blue, and then I'm about to shelve pink. So
True. So Dracula is less useful to
Dracula
get.
to
Right.
lurk in the
Okay.
corner there.
That's true.
Yeah, true.
So
we are
I'm
doing
not-
very well, by the way.
Yeah, we are
Yeah,
doing very well.
I'm wanting to flip something. I mean, this might, depending on the card, this might just automatically flip. So I've only done one thing. I guess I want to flip something.
Yeah.
Why not this? Or I mean, I guess I could, move to the center or something and flip this one.
It might
so that
be
I get
a
a
good
little ahead
idea
of.
to move off where you are, because if the curse identifies this tile that
I
you're
might get
standing on,
trapped.
that would it would flip it. If you weren't on it, it would flip it back to dark, and then that resets that shelf.
Oh, that too.
So, yeah.
Okay, so move and then flip this one.
Yeah.
Okay, we get another monster.
It's
Hopefully
another
it's a useful
terrible
purple monster. Yes. Wait, no, it's not useful.
No,
Not
alas.
useful at all. The big bad wolf. Okay. From far away, that center one looked purple to me at first, but no such luck. Okay.
Certainly not. But you're pretty well placed to capture him.
Okay. So,
It's
what goes on there? It's that one.
Nice.
Which is just a plain one. It's just blank.
It's the most generic tile I've ever seen.
And
then it moves
it is, isn't it?
Basically, yeah.
Here. Okay. Cool.
Okay, so where am I? I'm here. I need to turn this around. Oh, and I need to pick up a yellow book.
So that's one.
One. 2. Have I trapped you there, Jess? Should I have gone the other way?
That's okay. That's fine.
Okay. 3. So that's yellow, pink, and purple. I just love this idea of Cersei and Ichio Higuchi capturing the tornado from the Wizard of Oz.
Come here! How are we going to do it? Well, one of us is going to outrun it. Then the other one is going to use magic. But then we've got to hunker down. Really, the resilience. Yeah, see? It's definitely a thing.
Okay, so it's the big bad wolf.
It just rotates. There we go. So that's just rotated. That's okay. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3 out. So I can definitely do a bit of flipping there. So I think I might flip this one. See what that is. It's another one.
Purple. We also need the purple shelf, but no.
So this is so there's normally one which is just a bit difficult, and for us it's clearly purple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jabber one.
Okay. So just trying to think. I don't have the pink to deal with that, but I do have the green and the blue. At some point we're going to have to sort of think about, which of these.
Some damage control here, aren't we?
I see.
Yeah. So I might take a pink and see what I get. So that was just one, wasn't it?
Yeah. Heather can definitely take down the big bad wolf.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to take a pink, see what happens.
Oh, if I get a yellow, I can do it, yeah.
Very useful for that, but not actually. Why don't I just hang around here anyway, and I'll take a second pink and see, what that is. And yeah, there we go. Okay.
Okay.
So that was my turn. Or that was my actions, rather. Flip this. Got this. Oh, hang on. We know this is a reward, don't we? Because it was a reward before. This card has been flipped already. There we go. So now we're starting to see some of the things that we knew already, and soon we're going to get into the curse being right here in the center. And it's like, that's going to be interesting. Anyway, okay, so I've moved the curse on, and it's now your turn, Heather.
Okay, so I can use up it. Yeah, it has this thing where I'm like, oh, it's such a waste, like so scientific and so mirror just for this wolf. But anyway, we'll take yellow. Okay, so yellow kind of equals orange, actually. Book back. Yeah. Okay.
Well, actually, you don't need to use the science now.
Right, I can just use this.
Yeah, because Rihanna just got the science as well. So, yeah.
So science and legend. I can get the big bad wolf. And that's not, there's not going to be a shelf I can, well, I could put, I guess we haven't, you're going to fill the pink one before I would get there, I think, right? So, or wait, no, it's not pink. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's red.
No, all of these are already filled out. So I'm just doing that, and I'm never going to be able to get rid of it. It's going to be stuck in my hand. That's right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but it's basically, just like you say, it's just damage control.
Board from filling up. Okay. So that was 2 things. I drew a card and moved and captured. Purple.
And it's another thing.
Purple. Are you kidding me? I think you took them all out.
And everything, but
all right.
This is the thing, that we were doing so well.
Monsters to the bottom.
But then
this one.
But at least we haven't found the purple shelf yet.
Okay, purple.
Okay.
Uh-oh. We're actually in kind of trouble. We still don't.
We are in trouble.
Oh my gosh.
We are in definite trouble now. So, Mel, you probably need to. Yeah, you basically need to get one on your turn.
Yeah, if I go after the Forest of Thorns, I can capture that. It does mean I'm walking away from this shelving this pink one.
Yeah, I think you need to. We've got 8 turns, so that's okay.
Yeah.
But...
Okay, so if I move to here for 1, rotate for 2, and capture for 3.
Yeah.
1. I can only rotate in one direction, can't I? Top. So I just have to do it 3 times.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so it's me. I think.
Oh, I see.
You're spinning. Oh no! Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay. So that was 1, 2, and then 3. So that's blue, red, and green. Yeah, Alice Ball. Do that on her own.
Oh, just with one card. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, there are a few that match up perfectly.
Yeah. So that was 3. This one again is hiding back away from us again.
It's determined.
There we go.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So I cannot afford to flip anything, but I can get the Jabberwocky, can't I? Hang on. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So I can get, Drink Me is the 2 greens, 2 pinks on the top of Wang's Thing and Britomart, and then the 2
green, 2
blues there again. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So I'm doing fine. I can do that.
Oh, it says if you shift rotate, it'll rotate the opposite direction. That's really useful.
Like that. Excellent. So 1 and then 2 I can capture. And I need the potion as well.
Okay. Very thematic. Drink Me is involved in getting the Jabberwocky. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, actually that does work, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that was 1, 2. I can't get out of here, and I might need to in the future. Neither can you, though, Heather, actually. So that's not that useful.
No, we're all sort of trapped here, so.
You know what I'm going to do? Can I give an action to Heather? Because I just can't see how an action would be super useful for me right now. Whereas it might be useful for you.
Okay, so is that just one of the 4 things you can do? Oh, we have Zoe with us.
Yeah.
We have
So
to say
basically,
hello.
solid architecture. Yeah. So basically, it would be that blah blah blah. Yeah, that you just have 4 actions instead of 3.
And Jess only takes 2.
Oh, you saw that. Hello, Zoe. I see. I heard you say shift rotate. I didn't notice that it was Zoe here helping you with an instruction. You saw it before I did. Awesome.
I didn't, but that's very cool. Excellent. Now we know. Okay, so I'm going to give you my 3rd action, Heather, just to be like, okay, because right now, here I am and I'm trapped, and I don't think that makes makes that much difference. So it's just a normal action. No, that's just a normal action. You can do whatever you like.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So passing an action isn't an action. It's not an action.
It's just
giving you.
It's like a free action. Okay. Where
would
it say on my?
That's true. We need to say that somewhere
because I had no idea I was allowed to do that.
Might not say in the quick rules. Might just say in the main. The main thing. The main thing will definitely have it in there. Because I copied and pasted that from Mill's rules document.
Cool. Okay, so I have. You have to do the curse still, but then I'll do the curse. Possibly 5 because of my card.
Oh my goodness! Look, it has not got all these 3, horrible monstery things. That is ridiculously lucky. And then let's move on there.
But now we know that this is a shelf tile. So that's now reset.
Yeah.
So we know we can produce the purple shelf here at any time when we're ready for it.
Yeah.
Just need a purple.
Just need a purple
terror to deal with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. No one has a purple terror. Okay, so you'll go.
This one, even though there's a wall
have
in the
a
way,
purple terror. The tornado has a purple on.
Oh, it does?
Brilliant. Yeah. Okay, so
it's getting the shelf. That's all I need.
Okay,
so I just need to go here, and like 1, 2, right?
You can't get through there because there's a bookcase.
Sorry.
So you'll need to.
So I just need to rotate then, and okay, that's if you want counterclockwise, it's shift. Okay, but I could have done that. It's just that I had to press it 3 times.
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Purple. And I could stop there really because.
Yeah, you can pass the 4th action to me if you want.
Okay.
But it might be worth you just. You can't move.
I can't. No, I can move to there. Like
no, you can't.
Well, I can't pass through shelves unless I have something to fulfill it, just like a monster.
Yeah.
I see. Like intuitively, I'm like a shelf isn't dangerous. You know what I mean? But it's a tile. Is more like it's mechanically.
It's basically it's a book flapping around in front of you, going, "Where's my monster?"
Right. Well, I do have this extra action where I could rotate and then move. So
you've already got an extra action because Jess gave you an extra action.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But I have an extra. I could pass my action. I could keep passing that action on to you and use my card. Yeah. So you get an extra action too, though, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of better for me to be standing here because a monster will come out if I'm not. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
But you need to use Jess's extra action and your time machine in order to do that.
Oh, I do? Okay.
Actually, no, you wouldn't even be able to. You still wouldn't be able to get there because you'd have to move next to it and rotate it and then move onto it. So you need 3 more from where you are now to get to there.
Okay.
So we might just have to lump it and hope that that's not a monster.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
It'll be okay. Because actually we've only got 3 monsters out. We've only got 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
What would be great would be if you came down to here and flipped this one so we can see if we can get to the pink shell.
Yes.
So I had to rotate and I moved. So I've only used 2, right?
And then you flipped.
Yeah.
Oh, flip is another one. 3.
Yeah.
4 is my free action. And then play this.
Yeah.
For 5.
Yeah.
Great.
Yay.
That's brilliant. That is very good luck. Okay.
And this, okay, it's filled, so
Okay,
it
so
rotates
that just rotates. Yeah.
Yeah.
90 degrees clockwise. So if I'm being smart about this, I hold shift. No, that's
all the way.
counterclockwise. Oh, that's if you're making your decision
Yeah.
that you might want to. Okay, so like that.
The cursor always rotates clockwise.
Got it.
Cool.
And move.
And then move the cursor on. Okay, so shall I use my secret passage to get to purple? Shelf the tornado.
Where? So you're green.
I'm
So
here.
you just need to get out of here,
Yeah.
and then you could do that.
Okay, so I'm going to use
Then
my
you'd also
secret
be
passage.
able to go there. Yeah. Are we just about to win?
Oh no.
I think so.
So that's one. Tornado. Discard. And reward. Hooray. So that was just one. I could come down to here for two.
Ooh, no. You know what you could do? You could rotate the tile for me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So
Mm.
I'll come down here for two, and I'll rotate us for three in the opposite direction. There we go. So you can almost get there. There's still this bookcase in the way, but
that's okay. But I can do that.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll flip this one for us and connect it. No, it's move. That would be after it moves. It's gonna be one of the four it's around right now.
We're about to win. Is basically what's happening. No, it's a terror.
It's going to be a purple one now.
Fine.
Oh, it's still not a purple one.
Wow, the tornado was the only purple we've had. That's mad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Though, saying that we did have a big purple one right at the beginning. It's just that we shelved it under the hearts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's part of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes,
okay. So I can go. Where's my thingy? So I can go zhoop to there.
One.
And then I because I do need to shift rotate it. Oh no, actually it doesn't matter, does it? And then so that was two, and then three. I'm putting that in there, and that in there.
Yay.
And these ones done, and we have won. Excellent. Yay. So actually, that one we won fairly handily at the end. There, actually, so we did have a few more turns left, and quite often people are winning with only, with loads of, with loads of things out on the board, and they've only got one turn left or whatever. So, yeah, standard game.
Then you are playing with the two best players in the world.
Right. We'll see what happens on Thursday. Yeah. So
the most experienced players here.
So something that I will this is part of my gaming life as a gamer. I am pretty committed to keeping this filled out, my BGG app. I like to log my plays. Mm-hmm. And I have a friend that just teases me about it ruthlessly, that I'm really interested in like the stats and proving that I win a lot or whatever. It's more that I want to remember this day that I played with you two on Screentop GG. And this is the first time I played the published version of, or the finished version of Library Labyrinth. And so this like little pointer, this is part of why I'm glad we kind of have the boundary we have for Protospiel tested, is that this needs to be on BGG. It needs to be like done and public. Mm-hmm. It's not a prototype anymore. Although you're finishing it. It's kind of like it's on. This one is kind of in the middle ground of being on crowdfunding, so all the art isn't there and everything, but it's a reality. You've locked in what the game is going to be, and it's on BGG, public knowledge to everybody now. And I can find it in BGG's compendium and say this is a cooperative game, and then I'll get add you as players in my app, and then if I ever play with you again, I can remember you. So, and a mark that we won. So that's exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting, isn't
it? Yeah. I don't mind winning the first time I play a cooperative game, as long as it wasn't. There was some tension of like, oh no, we know that we almost lost, but we
Yeah.
had to work to not lose, right?
And of course, we played on the standard setup, and there's the ways that you can scale it to be more difficult for next time. But this is like my first game.
Right. Learning the rules.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. So how's the do you have the art done and you just haven't built it all into the screen top?
We have some of
stitched it
the
all
art
together,
done.
or
There's still quite a way to go, because obviously there's 60 different characters and 30 different terrors. So there's a lot of art for Sam to do.
So the terrors, we've been working through a lot of those, and they are more done as a percentage than the characters. So for example, we've got Dracula, and we've got the tornado done, and you can probably see them on the Twitter feed, or possibly there's a page on our website where you can see some of the images. In fact, scrolling down the Kickstarter, there's a page that says, "Oh, click here for images." There are more images there.
I've got a copy here, so I can pull them out.
Okay. Here, I can actually turn this back on.
Oh,
there we go.
There's some triffids there.
Oh, I missed it. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, that's very pretty. Gosh.
And then I've got.
Where am I looking? You said scrolling down to see more pictures.
So if you go to the Kickstarter, then just where it says the game, then you've got like a big picture. Then there's something that's then there's 3 little pictures in a row. 3 little tiny pictures in a row.
Up a bit from where you are, Heather. It's quite near the top of the page.
Quite near the top. What's a word I could search for that would be close to it? Do you know?
So it's just
So I would pop to it. See, this is the problem with Kickstarter. It's just like
it's so section.
Minotaur. Go for Minotaur.
Okay.
Okay.
Here,
there.
More
stop.
images. There we go. There we go.
Oh, so this shows you like the game development from the kind of very first one.
But if you scroll down a little bit, then you've got
there's the
triffids, basilisks, spiderwebs.
That are not. None of these are on the prototype yet, but some of these are. I know I saw that one. We didn't see that one, but that doesn't.
No, I don't think it does.
Some of the monster art is on the printed physical prototype, but it's not in the screen top version yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we decided that it just looked a little bit confusing when you're dealing with screen top. Then it just looks a little bit confusing to have some of them which are sort of like half done, because they're not coming up as the same thing. So having them all as white actually works really well for that.
Until they're all ready, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Kind of all or nothing. Yeah. Oh, this is really fun that I like this idea that you basically did an easier way of doing a designer diary. You just, you're not labeling every single picture. You're not making it too hard on yourself.
Shoving it all in there. Like
one of the old boards right next to me here.
Oh, yeah.
You get to see a lot of, I played it when it looked like this. This looks familiar.
Yeah.
And I think it was that Protospiel. It was just after that Protospiel. I think it was like the June or July. No, it must have been the April.
The April one was the one where we basically took the top off and we were like, there's no tension, this last bit isn't working. So we basically redid the boards. But then when we came back for the June or July one, then we were like, okay, right, here we're going to do it as tiles. And that was the time when it just really worked.
We had tiles for UK Games Expo. Last July, I want to say, end of July last year.
So
I think it was that April Protospiel that really made us strip it back and kind of start over again. And it was when we changed it to tiles that it became a game and it became fun rather than a chore.
Well, that's amazing to hear. That's awesome.
So yeah, it was. Yeah, we definitely got a lot of. It was difficult to hear it at the time, but it was definitely beneficial.
And I actually am realizing as I look at these old tiles, they have these kind of just like multicolored mixed up books. But now your new tiles, it's like, this is a green tile, but that actually never mattered, right?
No, exactly. You know, this is a green tile, which is kind of, you know, which is high. Well, I mean, that's just another way to highlight that some of them have terrors on them, some of them have shelves on them, etc. And we were finding that when it was just being indicated by the symbol in the middle, that it was just not quite clear enough, and people would be like, "Oh, hang on, what sort of tile is that?" Whereas having them sort of, you know, the shelves themselves, different colors, sort of leapt out at you. Oh yes, that's a nice reward tile, or that's a, you know, that's a lovely neutral tile, or whatever it was.
When somebody was standing on it, you couldn't see what was under them.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, yeah, the symbol is there. Yeah. So if you are colorblind, it's not a huge deal. But if you're not colorblind, it's a quick reference.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, of course, the red ones are sort of, that red is a bit of a darker red than the green is dark. You know, so hopefully that should help people to differentiate as well. You know, that it's not just the color, it's also just the sort of, you know, the shading.
Yeah. But as you say, it doesn't make any difference to the gameplay, so it's not a vital thing. So, you know, because we talked about a lot of the color blindness issues with the skill symbols, so we made sure that they're all shapes, and we made sure that they're all on the back of all of the book cards as well, so that you're not just looking at the color.
I really, really like the book art. I really like it. Just like the details of, well, the gold embellishments are just cool, and then the details of even the corners kind of match. They're all different. They're not. And they're not the same as the symbol, but they go with the symbol, and they're really dimensional and cool. I like that. And
they look so good in real life. You know, the cards in particular. It's those bright colors. So the actual, you know, the drawing on the cards, you know, a lot of that was me, but I don't have that much color sense. You know, so I was going to Sam and was talking to Ella and saying, look, you know, what should we do for these? You know, what colors work? And Sam was saying, oh, you know, what about this? And I was like, I'm not sure about that. And then it was like, okay, Jess, you need to do that. You know, the style from the artist has been absolutely brilliant.
We spent a lot of time telling Jess that she was using too much brown.
Yeah, that was Ella's main thing.
Make it less brown.
Like, yes, you know, not like. And I was like, but I want it to be sort of nice and golden and shiny, and then like, no, you know, sometimes it just comes across as brown, which may be why there's a table in here and it's not just on green. Yeah,
that's great. Oh well, this was so fun. I'm so glad you could join us, and we got to win. It's really great to see it as it ended up, because it definitely, I mean, I've play tested it once, like I said, when the tiles look different, and it played smoothly. It really doesn't feel that much different. It has the same like soul, I guess, as it always did, but it's just been cleaned up and moving smoothly. That's great. And that's a great thing too about Screen Top, is that anybody who's considering it and wants to try and see if basically any friend they have likes this game, they can, as long as they have an internet connection, they can try it out together. If they have an internet connection and like 2 hours, an hour and a half to spend together, they can do it. And that's pretty cool. That's a really useful asset, I think, when things are on Kickstarter. I mean, I didn't need to try it out to back it personally, but especially for us in the US, it's quite expensive. You know, our dollar is weaker than your pound, and there's the shipping that we're going to have to do. So it's more of a, for the size of game it's more like the cost of a bigger game, basically, for people in the US. But usually if I am sight unseen on a game,
does add it, doesn't it?
Yeah. I like to be able, if it feels like it's expensive, I like to be able to try it and make sure that I will actually play it before I back it. And so it's really great that you have this for people to do that with. Yeah, and of course, I mean, it's just it kind of goes without saying with this game that it's kind of the anti nothing but dudes on a map kind of game. It's really great that it can bring up these like different people that we've never heard of that are kind of lost to history. The one like big, because all these people are so interesting, you do have descriptions of who they are. Like when you look at the card, it says this is who this person is, but I have no idea how to pronounce it, and a lot of them are really
is a good point, which some people have mentioned, and I think we need to have a pronunciation guide, but like they have in dictionaries or thesauruses.
We're going to put a booklet into every game with a bit more information about all of the characters and all of the terrors as well, so that could be exactly where we put this is how you pronounce this as well. So
yeah, that'd be really helpful. And that's a lot of extra work, because just like even how to pronounce something is a little bit touchy. Like maybe even if the pronunciation is written for me, I might not understand how to interpret like that carrot over that letter or whatever, right?
A couple of them where I've had to talk about them on streams and things like this, and I've just had to go to Google and type it in and go, let me hear Google say it to me, or let me hear some academic that knows what they're talking about say it to me.
Right, yeah.
I've watched a lot of videos of people talking about Queen Nzinga or Enhudwana.
Could you even just, without having a fancy app or anything, could you have a page on your website that was just links to all the Google saying it?
Now that's not a bad idea.
And you could have in that booklet
to Google, which you can.
Yeah.
And
let them do the work.
Let Google do it all.
You do the work of compiling. They do the work of actually knowing how to pronounce it, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll do the work of compiling it, and then I'll just record myself going Nzinga.
I can see that we have just a few people watching us. I think we're about ready to sign off, but if anybody has anything to ask or say, I'll give you maybe a kind of 2-minute warning while we say goodbye. And I'll let you also, how do you want to be kept in touch with, or anything that you want to, obviously the Kickstarter, I shared it a while back. I'll show it on the screen again. It's going to be at the top of the chat, but I'll put it so we can see it for now.
So
unless anybody has
social media, the social media that's the best for contacting us, you could go to Facebook. There's a Facebook page. There's a Facebook group as well. The page is called Descent Games. The group's called Labyrinth, so just search and you'll find that. For Twitter, it's best to go to Descent Games. So that's where I'm found a lot. So generally replying to people on Twitter. I feel like I spend too much time on there. But come and hang out with me on Twitter.
Occasionally I reply on Twitter, and that confuses people.
Occasionally you are Descent Games on Twitter?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's me like about 75%, maybe 90% of the time. Yeah, probably 90% of the time. And then sort of, the other 10%, it's Mill, and it's like, what's happening?
To confuse people.
Awesome.
Quite often on Facebook, it's me, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I think it's probably you on Facebook more often, particularly the replying, because I tend to put something on Facebook and then I go back to Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, you're a dynamic duo then.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're also on Instagram at Descent Games, and bizarrely, we just joined TikTok, where we're Descent Games 1.
Mill's just joined TikTok.
It's for the young people. I don't know.
I mean, there's
people said it was a good idea, so I did it, and now I'm terrified.
There's some appeal to the young people with this. It's just, I think the thing, TikTok is something that if you're participating in it, it is designed to suck your time away, basically. And I sort of feel like weird creating content for something that I don't know how to consume content on. And so that's probably my biggest thing that's going to keep me from ever actually creating a TikTok. But
I use TikTok like your mum uses TikTok. Honestly, like, am I doing the tick or the talk?
right. But it's really built for discoverability, so it's not a bad idea as somebody trying to get the word out about something to find something to do to use it. But I think my understanding is there will be trends that emerge, and you want to kind of find a trend you can copy or latch onto. So you kind of need to be watching it. That's how you get discovered, is by latching on to some kind of trend that other people are doing. And so somewhat you have to pay attention to what's happening. But yeah, congrats on creating your TikTok. If anybody happens to be watching that's excited about that, you can see what you're up to. And that's Descent Games on TikTok. I mean, I don't even know.
Descent Games 1 on TikTok.
Interesting.
Because somebody else was already Descent Games.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
it wasn't me.
And for Protospiel Online, we'll be tweeting again to remind you of the time that we're going to play the same game again. Our handle on Twitter is ProtospielO. And tonight is our deadline for purchasing a badge of any type. So you can come even if you don't have a game of your that is ready to be play tested. Like either it's not built in a acceptable platform, or just something's broken and you don't think you're gonna have it figured out by April to play test for yourself, or like you guys, your project is done. But even if you don't have your own game to test, I think coming as a playtester is a great way to just get to see everybody again. And when you playtest, I think you learn a lot about. It might inspire you for your next design, or help you learn things about Screen Top and Tabletop Playground by playing other people's games, even if you don't have time or don't have a game to build on those. I really encourage you just to come even as a playtester. That's the cheapest badge. And if you do that this time around, we have a special new thing where if you buy it by tonight at midnight Eastern time, you'll be included in an invitation to be in a community match for a 30-minute conversation with one person who could become your accountability buddy. All you're committing to is to spend 30 minutes together talking about topics that you're both interested in. So you'll get a survey with like, which topics are you interested in? And so you'll be matched on that and the time that works for both of you. So you'll be asked like, what are a few times that work for you? And then we'll mishmash everybody together and give them one buddy to have a 30-minute conversation with. And if you have a great time, then we of course encourage you to keep in touch. And it's a great way to, if you have any goals, even if you're not going to actually come and test something at Protospiel Online, to bounce ideas off of another person that you had some time to bond with them. You didn't kind of just see them in passing. So if you don't buy tonight, you won't get mixed into that, even though you can still have a badge after tonight, and the price actually isn't changing or anything. It's just the opportunity to be part of that match is going to go away after tonight. So it's a deadline day for us. But yeah, we don't have any questions in the chat, so and it's very late for y'all, so I'll let you go to sleep.
It's coming up to 11.
10 to 11.
Yeah.
It's not like wee hours of the morning. It's not the worst, but
some of us have got work in the morning. Come on.
That is a very good point.
Let me go to let me turn this off so we're bigger when we say goodbye. All right, well, thank you so much for spending time with me, and we'll be doing this again on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, playing with not the designers and seeing if we can still win if we don't have the best 2 players in the world with us. All right, everybody.
Thanks
Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.